Indy's only 24/7 local live streaming news option. This is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
Working for you and getting results. Thanks for joining us for the news at 7. I'm Nicole Griffin. Dozens of families in Speedway now have more time to vacate a mobile home community after originally only being given 30 days to find another place to live. The timeline adjustment comes after a series of WRTV Investigates reports. State Representative Renee Pack says the residents of El Lou Mobile Home Park will now have 6 months to relocate. At the beginning of the month, residents received a notice to vacate by November 30th as the owners were selling the property. WRTV uncovered this conflicted with Indiana code, which requires mobile home owners to give residents 180 days written notice of a need to vacate. Representative Pack says she saw our story and visited the El Lou Mobile Home Park. She consulted the Attorney General's office, who agreed to look into the issue.
It was the young lady that you interviewed. Her name is Lynette. I just saw the sincerity of their shock and their pain. And I am an advocate for those in sensitive housing situations. And it just hit a chord in me, and I knew I had to go and see if I could. I wasn't sure what I could do, but I knew I couldn't just do nothing.
The residents will now have until April 18th, 2022 to relocate. If you ever find yourself in this position, Representative Pack recommends reaching out and filing a complaint with the Attorney General's office. They know what your rights are and if it falls in line with Indiana code.
Well, looking ahead, there's one day, and it just happens to be Thanksgiving, that sticks out as far as our rain chances, and really a 12-hour stretch from, say, 7 a.m. into the early afternoon hours. I think our best opportunity for rain. Temperatures overnight not as cold. We were in the upper teens to lower 20s in spots this morning. A strengthening south wind will keep our temperatures propped up closer to the freezing mark. That's where we start tomorrow. Warmest temperatures in the afternoon hours around 3 o'clock because of this strong south wind. Plan on a temperature hitting 51 tomorrow afternoon.
Heart of gold. It's one phrase that was used time and time again at a briefing earlier this afternoon on Operations Allies Welcome here at Camp Atterbury. Now, all of those officials and Afghan evacuees who spoke alike tell us that that heart of gold is made possible not only by the people on the base, but also the community outside of the gates. Some 7,200 Afghan evacuees lived on base at Camp Atterbury at one time. Now, after thousands resettled, 4,100 remain on base tonight. Out of the 8 safe haven sites across the United States, officials say 75% of all community donations came right here through Camp Atterbury. Now, U.S. Ambassador Christine Elder shares the state of Indiana doubled its commitment of how many evacuees it could help. She adds Indiana is often referred to as the gold standard when it comes to this mission. Now, Governor Eric Holcomb says he hopes the state is an example nationwide on what a community can do to help those in a time of need.
From chaos to calm, that 7,200 of our now neighbors, that journey in and of itself, that peace is priceless.
Holcomb spoke to the fact he's seen those small world connections throughout this operation. One I actually saw happen literally right in front of me before this press conference started this afternoon between 2 men that first met in Afghanistan 4 years ago.
It was amazing. I came here, I saw him like, oh, I kind of knew you. I told him like, have you been to Afghanistan? He said yes. Then I opened my mask and then, we knew each other there. It was like, it was amazing.
Very small world. Incredible to have something like this happen. As we move into Thanksgiving, it really is a small world. I mean, this is the proof is right here. I mean, literally across the world years ago, and we run into each other in Edinburgh, Indiana.
Today was the first time those two saw each other since working together in Afghanistan. A reunion they both say took them by surprise. Now they tell me they'll keep in touch for years to come. Federal officials tell us tonight that Operations Allies Welcome here at Camp Atterbury is set to wind down by the end of this year. In Edinburgh, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
A new study shows the major impact COVID-19 and the Delta variant has on pregnant women. Just ahead, what health officials want you to know.
Live streaming 24/7. This is WRTV News at 7. Streaming now.
Many Hoosier families are preparing to have Thanksgiving gatherings that resemble a more pre-pandemic normal, but as numbers show, the pandemic is far from over. We spoke with Dr. Kevin Ban, the Chief Medical Officer for Walgreens, about what families can do to stay safe as they gather around the Thanksgiving table. He tells us in addition to getting vaccinated for both the coronavirus and the flu, there is something you can do right now before you travel or host to make sure you don't get your relatives sick.
If everyone at the get-together is vaccinated, my advice is go ahead and enjoy it. If there are people who are unvaccinated or you're really concerned about a vulnerable family member, maybe someone who's older, someone who has many medical problems, that's the time you really want to consider testing. Again, if you're vaccinated, no need to do that. But if you're in a mixed group of unvaccinated people and vaccinated people, it's the safest thing to do.
Dr. Ban says Walgreens has several testing options available, from PCR testing to same-day drive-up testing and also over-the-counter antigen tests. You can also get more information at walgreens.com.
COVID-19 had a major impact on pregnant women. The chance of death or stillbirth among pregnant COVID patients increased when the Delta variant emerged. Those are the findings of two new studies. The first study is from the CDC, and it looks at more than 1 million deliveries. It shows women diagnosed with COVID-19 are more likely to suffer from a stillbirth, and that risk increased when the Delta variant came on the scene. A second study out of Mississippi shows death among pregnant COVID-19 patients rose when the Delta variant became dominant. That's based on data from more than 1,600 infected pregnant women. Medical professionals say the two new studies prove why it's important for pregnant women to get vaccinated against the virus.
It's really causing a lot of people discomfort because of dryness. When we have the masks on, it seals, a respiratory system, and so that contributes to a lot of dry eye, which is a huge problem, and it's really uncomfortable. And it's one of those things that only bothers you when you're breathing. So it's a constant source of irritation and frustration for patients that can cause some real visual problems. What we've seen is people that have severe respiratory or cardiovascular problems associated with the disease have had, major systemic problems, and that's led to problems inside the eye with the vascular system because the eye is very vascular tissue. If something affects your cardiovascular system, in the end, it's really going to have the potential to negatively affect your eyes and your vision.
Live streaming 24/7. This is WRTV News at 7. Streaming now.
The jury is out in the Ahmaud Arbery trial. 3 white defendants are facing multiple charges in the death of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery. The men are accused of chasing and killing Arbery last February when he was out for a jog near Brunswick, Georgia. There are 11 white people and 1 black person on the jury.
Whatever your verdict is, it must be unanimous. That is, agreed by all, as to each count of the indictment and as to each defendant. Each verdict must be in writing and signed by one of your members as foreperson, dated, and returned to be published in open court.
All three defendants are pleading not guilty. Travis McMichael and Gregory McMichael say they were conducting a citizen's arrest and acted in self-defense. William Roddy Bryan, who recorded the incident, says he wasn't involved. A new poll shows support for stricter gun control is at its lowest level since 2014. According to Gallup, 52% of Americans say the laws covering firearm sales should be stricter. In 2019, support for stricter gun laws was at 64%. That dropped to 57% in 2020. Gallup notes Americans' support for stricter gun laws usually goes up after a high-profile mass shooting and drops during periods without such events. Unruly passengers prepare to pay up. The Federal Aviation Administration just announced fines it's levied against disruptive passengers. The agency says just 8 passengers faced fines totaling $161,000. That's the third highest total since the FAA enacted its zero-tolerance policy. The newest set of fines come as the airline industry prepares to handle an estimated 20 million travelers over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Temperatures on the move for a day. I guess they're on the move beyond that, but in a colder direction, and they're headed in a warmer direction during the day Wednesday. That will come with a decent amount of wind and increasing cloud cover. Thanksgiving Day, temperatures actually fall in the afternoon. Rain is most likely the first part of the day. More on that in a second. And then the results of the cold front pretty obvious on Friday as you'll change back into your heavier coat. Wind strength gusting over 30 miles per hour through the afternoon hours Wednesday. Temperatures above average and the warmest that we'll have throughout the 7-day planner. In most spots reaching the lower 50s despite the increasing cloud cover. There's the cold front that sits just to our west on Thanksgiving morning. Rain along and ahead of the cold front. Temperatures then will be stuck in the 40s before falling in the afternoon. Once the rain ends, 7 a.m., widespread light rainfall. Then it becomes very scattered in the afternoon hours. Thanksgiving temperatures 45 at noon in NC. By the evening hours, shortly after sunset, we're back into the upper 30s with a northwest wind. First thing Friday morning, temperatures upper teens to lower 20s, 35 your Friday high. Dry for the bucket game as we head into the weekend forecast. Temperatures both Saturday and Sunday will be in the 40s. 44 Saturday, it'll drop into the 30s up in West Lafayette during the IU Purdue football game. Dry Sunday into early next week as well.
I call it a weapon of mass destruction.
Fort Wayne resident Teresa Gilleret knows all too well the impacts of the opioid epidemic.
I was oblivious to fentanyl and that it even was the reason my son's life was taken.
May 12th of 2020, the day she lost her son.
I actually am the one who found my son. I administered CPR.
But she was too late. The 23-year-old was gone.
This is something that I thought would never happen or that I would never need to care about, and here we are.
Later, Gilleret would find out her son died from a lethal dose of fentanyl.
The reality is a lethal dose of fentanyl is really only 2 or 3 grains of salt.
Fishers Police Captain Mike Johnson says opioid and fentanyl overdoses aren't anything new, but perhaps a somewhat newer concern.
The really terrifying thing right now is this whole counterfeit pill issue.
An issue we've seen reported across the nation. Fake pills disguised as your common opioid. Pills like Oxycontin, Percocet, Xanax, Vicodin, even Adderall. Marketed as actual prescription drugs.
The only thing I can really compare it to for you would be like a game of Russian roulette. You know, one pill in a bottle maybe give someone a high. Another pill in the same bottle can be instant death.
That instant death is something Chief Johnson says the Fishers Police Department has seen on 3 occasions that they know of. And just last month, he says they seized more than 25,000 counterfeit pills.
The old adage of drug dealer in a dark alley somewhere isn't really the case so much anymore. Online orders, social media platforms are making it much easier for people to get their hands on prescription drugs and also these counterfeits.
Their message, the same as Gillerette's.
One pill can kill.
One pill can kill.
And it will.
It can be anyone. My son was 23, had everything ahead of him, had goals, had dreams, had a child, wanted to be the best dad. And a lot of that was stolen from him just because of the one choice that he made. And yes, he did make a choice to use a drug that day, but again, he didn't choose to lose his life that day.
Gillerette is now turning her pain into purpose. She works with the Fort Wayne advocacy group named Justice, Accountability, and Victims Advocacy, or JAVA, which aims to help other families who are dealing with the sudden loss of a loved one and are seeking justice. Working for you, Caitlin Kindle, WRTV.
Your bowl of cereal may get more expensive next year. A regional wholesale supplier for General Mills says the company plans to raise prices on hundreds of products in 2022. Brands like Pillsbury and Betty Crocker are affected, as well as cereals like Cheerios and Lucky Charms. The supplier claims some prices will go up by 20%. General Mills is not commenting. The U.S. and several other countries will release millions of barrels of oil from their strategic reserves in an effort to lower prices around the globe. The White House made the announcement Tuesday. This could mean relief at the pump. Gas prices are almost double what they were at this time last year, part of the ongoing inflation issues that have damaged President Biden's approval rating. Dollar Tree won't change its name, but it will change its pricing model. Effective immediately, the company will sell some items for $1.25 or $1.50. This is inflation related, but company leaders say it also means the chain can offer new products like frozen meat or seasonal items.
Indy's only 24/7 local live streaming news option. This is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
From navigating new ways to meet your children's educational needs to making sure students stay safe and healthy at school, teachers and school staff have been working hard throughout the pandemic, and that is why the United Way of Central Indiana is hosting a community-wide project to show appreciation, and they need your help. United Way has 400 tote bags ready to be filled with small gifts for educators. They are looking for donations of things like lip balm, lotion, tissues, tea, and chocolate. They're also looking for volunteers to help assemble and deliver the totes. Taylor Rhodes is heading the initiative and says this is something small to do for those who make a huge impact.
They have been so resilient throughout this whole pandemic, trying to figure out how to keep their doors open and to be there for our kiddos. And so they give so much love and passion to our kids and trying to provide that high quality education. And so how could we not do our small part in saying thank you for being there?
If you want to donate to the project, you can purchase from the United Way's Amazon wish list or buy similar products and deliver them by December 6th. Donations will be delivered to more than 30 locations in the United Way's 7-county service area on December 7th. You can find that Amazon wish list and the link to volunteer to pack and deliver the bags right now at WRTV.com. Thanks for watching WRTV News at 7. We'll see you back here at 11, but you can keep watching all local all the time. WRTV is available 24/7 on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV, or wherever you stream.